Welcome to George Coll Fine Art. Here, the viewer is encouraged to get outside and paint from life. George's job is to provide the tools to solve the many technical challenges faced in rendering landscape paintings. View the library of landscape paintings offered and become a subscriber. You can also purchase tutorial videos, plus original tutorial and studio paintings. Thank you. And if you like what you see, click the subscribe button and join in on the fun.
Hello and welcome to a new series titled Warm Light Outlet. So, three-part series. This is part one, and so that's block-in. So, in 30 minutes we covered this 10 by 17 with these very thin value colors. And go through that step by step, so don't try to make it too complicated. Just remember that we're going to put basically just some thin mixtures down to figure out where these shapes, value shapes, are going to be. Alright, so get outside and paint. Paint with your friends. Get critiques, and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. Alright, let's get started. Hey, welcome to a new three-part series called Warm Light Outlet. This particular location is up in Rocky Mountain National Park, one of my favorite places to hang out. But today is part one, so we need to get some value colors and shapes in the right place. So I'm going to be mixing thin paints today. I'm not going to be putting thick stuff on right now. I want to try to get an idea of where the shapes are going to be and what values they should be. Simple, simple. Okay. I'm going to go through this and we'll get as far as we can in this 30 minutes. All right. So with that, let's make a drawing color. Let's get a little blue, a little burnt sienna, raw sienna, something brown, transparent oxide red's another one. And I'll throw a little green in there. I have a little bit of all this deep green here to the left. And that should do it for some sort of, that is a wonderful color, wow. All right, so I will start with an old worn out number 2 long flat. Now it's kind of a pointed filbert. Alright, so one thing I need to say is that I want to start with, right here is kind of where the bottom of the, or where the outlet is. Down, it's below center just a little bit. So I'm going to use that. So that's kind of my target area to build from. So this is going to be the water, and it kind of goes like this, and then out here, here, something like that. And then there's an island here, I think. And a big rock. Don't need to have it that big, but... So there's some basic shapes there. And then I have a mountain up here and here. I really like these clouds. They're really nice. I think that's about right. And then I have some really wonderful trees here. And here, and here, and here. So here is going to be, I think, kind of the grassy area to here. And I have a rock area exposed right behind here. So this is going to be a tree here, obviously. And I think I'm going to have some more trees over into this area here. probably should have made this a little bit bigger now that so I'm going to do that. Here we go here, and I'll move tree over here a little bit. So there's going to be kind of a mountain behind the mountain, and there's going to be trees up in here, pine trees. All right, that's the design. And of course the clouds are going to play a big part in this painting. I'm cut out this morning a 10 by 17, and I'm painting on canvas on gator board. So gator board's kind of nice. You can cut it up to any size you want. And I have my framing friend Mike Ottoman. He glues all this stuff to gator board. All right, so there's that. So where to start? Let's start with a green. Here's a blue and cat orange. Cat orange. Use up last week's paint, I think, here. Cat orange. And I see kind of a gray area here, and I see trees here. They're kind of faded under a gray. It's a mist that's over the lake with this little outlet area. And then we're going to have tree area up in here. Okay. So I started with my knife just to get some idea of colors here. And there's going to be real dark water right here and light water here. So let me spend a little bit more time on where my shapes are going to be. So there's quite a significant island here. And that's him right there. And out of him will be an island rock here. And I think there's going to be a bank here, break here. And then green up in here. All right. I'm going to put some permanent green out because I will need some of that in my grassy area. Permanent green. All right, let's get going here. Time to change brushes. And lightening up my gray a little bit. Right there. Added some titanium white to it. All right, so I'm going to use an old worn out number 4 2025. Kind of a stiff old brush. It's probably a flat at one time. And look, I made it into a filbert or some sort of a pointed brush here. Okay. I'm using the paper towel for a couple reasons. One is to keep it thin, and you can see it lightens it up, and you can see the difference between the foreground tree and the background tree. This is a little bit larger painting or canvas I'm using for my video. I just thought it was a good size for this painting. So I may not be able to get all this into my 3-part series, and I'll have to do some for homework, and I'll assign it to you also. Well, let's try something now. Oh, I need some of this same stuff that's up in here. Don't have my canvas securely fastened to my easel. Here, move around here a little bit. It's a little bit concerning for me, but and I need some of these darks in here. And deep darks. So this is blue, got yellow. This is the greatest pine tree mixture there is. It's cad yellow medium, ultra blue. It's just great. It's quick. Nope, shouldn't have made too much of that dark down there. It's just really following what I'm seeing on the reference. So I'm looking a lot, I'm kind of going back and forth to my, I have a monitor to the right here. And I just keep going back to that photograph I have, photo reference. And I'm going to use some darks down in here. Some darks down in here. And here. Well, I still have some of this. I'm going to put some darks on the bottom of the island and the bottom of Rock, Mr. Rock. And over here on the banks, I think I'll be using some. Okay. See a bunch of trees in here. Couldn't hurt to get some in now. Alright, so now I need to mix up some permanent green. Permanent green. And here we go. Add just a little bit of olive to it. Not much. Better put a few rocks in there. So I'm just going to go to my knife and put a rock in some places. And in the here, just using my knife to give me some indication of where things are going to be. Whew, boy. And I'm going to, even though the green's different from here to here, I'm going to just put some of this green in this area in here. I better put some darks running through there, sorry. There's some darks running through. And now I'm going to Get the permanent green and white in here. It's quite a hike up here. It's this water that you see is the outlet to the loch, which is European for lake. And okay, so you get an idea where that green's going to be. I'm getting back. And now I'm going to get some of this gray that I have to the right on my palette, right here. And clean my brush up just a little bit. Add a little green to it. A little permanent green and add that. It's kind of a halo effect in this. It's kind of neat. All right. So I'm going to have to break this up just a little bit so it's not so perfect. Just adding some of the darker in and out here. Okay. Now I know there is a rock in here. I'm going to change brush. And I've got something, it's a 278, a little bit softer. I'm going into the gray area and there's a rock outcropping up in here. And here. And I think he's also over into here. Just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my ultra blue and cad yellow medium and work in this area between the trees and here, and then go to the darker stuff, which is right in here and here. And a little bit right down into here. Now we have to go back to gray. This is a Portland gray, warm. Good. There's a lot going on in there. I'm just kind of choosing one value color to try to get some sort of a base look to it. All right, let's get that dark water in. So let's go back to the ultra blue and cad yellow. Ultra blue, cad yellow, cad yellow, cad yellow. And get the water right in here, which is basically a reflection of the trees on still water. Maybe too dark. Just added some yellow ochre to it. More yellow ochre. Naples, yellow ochre. There we go. And I'll put some over in here too. And I'll get some underneath rock. And a little bit under grass. Now we need to go from these greens, and we have to start thinking about sky and water, the light water reflection that's right in front of us. So we have to have some darks coming out here and so forth. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay. So this is a good time in this step, if there's a shape you don't like, get it changed. And I may not like this guy so much, I might have to move him over a little bit. I'm thinking of it. And I don't have time to do that on part one, but I will do it for my homework to maybe move my tree over a little bit, maybe in this area. So let's make a sky color. Oh, I have my new razor blade scraper from Home Depot, or Ace Hardware, or somewhere. I just love a new scraper. And we made a nice new mixing area. So I want to work on a kind of a warm gray. So I use my Portland. All right, let me see how warm that is. And I'm going to start working on clouds. And there's some worms in these clouds that I want to get. As you can see in the reference, it's a pretty good warm gray. I'm going to add just a little blue to this mixture. Just a touch of alizarin. Boy, that's strong. Back to blue, back to Portland, back to white. That's a nice sky color. Here we go. Just a little bit more white, more white. And we're going to get the underside of these clouds. Come on, clamp in there. And it's really dark right in here. A lot of times I just make clouds up, but I just like this cloud design here that I have. And we will add some blue next. And let's see, can we use this down below? Not yet. I think we can use this though down below. This mixture I just made, and that will be right in here. Here. And here. Notice I use the side of my brush a lot at this stage. It's a way to keep my paint thin too, just by scraping it on there with a harder brush or a stiffer brush. We used to call this hog hair brush. I don't know what they're made now, but they're stiff. And let's go in with a little warmer, with a little bit of transparent oxide, or burnt sienna, and a little bit of white, and we'll put that in here for rock and rocks in these places. And let's go with ultra blue and yellow ochre, Naples, yellow ochre, a little bit of permanent green, some white, and we will get this island guy here in. Here. Okay. Now, I need some blue sky, but I gotta check my time. Doing okay, but we better not dilly-dally. So you can get some ultra blue, or I'm using some Sevres blue, spelled S-E-V-R-E something. Sevres is kind of the no-brainer for New Mexico, Colorado, and parts of Wyoming for good skies. Good stuff. So I'm changing brushes, and I'm going to use some white, and I know there's some blue, just a hint in here. And a darker Sevres up in here. And I think that's it. And that's it for now for that. And I want to make a mountain here in the back, in this area here. And I think what I'm going to do is hold off on that till I figure out, I want to put some area of light in here, because that's why I'm calling it warm light outlet, because it's kind of dull with all these, you know, subdued, cool colors. And I want to put some warms in there, which would probably be some raw sienna type colors, to try to say, hey, there's some, you know, there's some light in these rocks back here, and maybe use some of that up in that mountain up in there. We shall see. See, I have a little bit of white left, not much. I can't think I can use that for anything except maybe the water here. Just a slightly change of color here in this water. It's beautiful, and use it for some of it for transition here. All right, so I said I was going to move my tree, and I don't have time to do it, but I'll show you just how I begin the process. Is if I want to move him over, I'll just get a little bit of turpentine. First of all, scrape it, see if I can get some of that up, and then just erase this guy right here. And then get my paper towel. Kind of smudgy, but you get the idea. And then I'll move him over. So that brings us to an end. I'll come over here with my tree. And that's part one. Blocking. Okay. Thanks for coming by. And let's get ready for part two tomorrow, which we'll be putting heavier paints on top of paints and paying attention to detail, but we'll leave a lot of detail till the very end. All right. Let's say goodbye, and thank you very much.